Money Radio, discussing the business of making and spending money.
The screen is not showing.
Money Radio, discussing the business of making and spending money.
Hello, you're welcome to today's edition of Money Radio on Leadership Podcast. Money Radio is a program that brings to you the latest developments in Nigeria's business and economy cycles and issues of businesses around the world. My name is Innocent Odo, and today we are going to talk about how Nigeria can benefit from the 5G network, which has been approved by the federal government last week. I'm not alone in the studio. I am here with my regular host and ICT expert, Hanel Jafaru. Hanel, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Now, some of us were elated when the Federal Executive Council last week announced the approval of the 5G, that's a fifth generation network, to be deployed in Nigeria. And it's with immediate effect, which will be done in phases between now and 2025. So first of all, Haniel, how did you receive the news that 5G, after all the delays over issues concerning health, eventually have been approved for use in Nigeria? How did you receive that news?
Well, I've always been an advocate of 5G. I knew that definitely this day would surely come, because it's 5G is not something we should be debating about. Yeah, we understand the fact that there were public outcry, and I think that was the reason for the delay. Most the government wanted to tread carefully. They didn't want to go against the wish or the will of the people. So that it's not only in Nigerian outcry, but worldwide. So most government went back underwent research regarding the health implication of 5G, and the result is still the same thing as it was before that research, before the outcry. The power of 5G really does not have that the power emission, that's the radiation emission of 5G does not have the capacity to harm us as we anticipated. If we can run 4G and we are still alive, then there is a big tendency that we'll run 5G and we'll still be alive.
We want to understand that the radiation is actually lower than that of...
yeah, it is because of the power capacity. That's why it needs a small cell, and that means because the architecture would mean that there's going to be, unlike the 4G that you see in Max and there are no small cell units, from a Max you can beam your 4G network and everybody around would get it. For 5G, you would need smaller units, smaller cell units, even after the mast has been erected. Yeah, so it's the reason is because of the power that it pushes out. So the power is not as strong as the public anticipated.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's a good one. At least we are heading somewhere.
Yes, indeed, we're heading somewhere. And from the federal government's pronouncement last week, there are some optimism, just like you have also expressed here. But sometimes the issues like this are usually implementation. The benefits are there, notwithstanding, there are also some challenges, as some experts will say. So let's start with does Nigeria stand to benefit from this 5G network?
Okay, 5G, as you already mentioned, is the fifth generation wireless telecommunications network that enables you to have high speed. The power, the bandwidth consumption or the bandwidth capacity that 5G has is way more than 4G. Now, with a 3G network, you can download a 2-hour movie for, let's say, 2 hours movie, 3G network, you can do it for 60 minutes. You get. Now, with a 4G network, you can download a 2 hours movie for 6 minutes. Yeah, now, but with a 5G network, a 2 hours movie, you can download it for 3.6 seconds. So it invariably means that you spend more time thinking of the movie to download than the time it takes for the movie to be ready to watch. And from the the test that was carried out, I think they downloaded 2 gig in Abuja. They downloaded 2 gig data for around 6 minutes, if not less. That's to tell you the rate at which now, but with 4G it was way higher the time it takes to get that movie. So one of the benefits of 5G is the high level of speed that it comes with it. So it's called enhanced mobile broadband. That means it's going to be more of real time. As you're touching a link, it's opening. It does not take time to open. It doesn't take time to buffer and all that. And that's going to bring about a whole lot of innovation in the area of VOD, video on demand. Most persons will begin to, as it stands now, most persons already are looking at having. They really don't send cable TVs again. They don't mind how they really wouldn't whether they have cable TV or not. They really don't care. They prefer having their Amazon Fire Stick, Google Chromecast, Android set-top discs that gives them connectivity to the internet, and they begin to stream movies directly from video on demand platforms. And the reason is because the speed that with 4G already we are getting that level of speed, but we have not been able to. You would always get before when you're streaming 4K movies, that the one higher than high definition. Even some high definition movies, there are times it will be buffering. But with 5G, it's going to be real time. As you're watching the movie, it's instant. There's no, as though you just put you're watching it directly from your system, and you have the raw file on your system. So because of that, there's going to be a high innovation. Nigerians, as intellectual as we are, will begin to develop video on demand platform, knowing fully well that Nigerians will begin to embrace those kind of platforms like Iroko TV. So we begin to get platforms like that coming forth. Those are kind of innovation. But beyond the enhanced mobile broadband that comes with that is coming with the 5G. There's also, it's going to help with Internet of Things. Most of us really would not know. We may not have experienced Internet of Things at this. Some of us, maybe those at the lower academy, may not have experienced Internet of Things, or maybe hearing what Internet of Things is, but really don't know what exactly it means. Now, Internet of Things is a machine-to-machine communication, whereby a machine, two appliances you have in your house, maybe your AC and your lights, they have a way of communicating with each other, or you have your AC and your TV have a way of communicating with each other. So it's a machine-to-machine communication, but it is set up in such a way that appliances using the smart home, for example, appliances within the house can communicate with each other. Walk into a room, the AC has a way of sensing that the humidity in the room tends to be stuffy. It automatically, without you asking the AC, it uses artificial intelligence and some other features to automatically turn on itself. Yes. And it can also sense to ensure that to see that, okay, the humidity is high, then in that case, it will automatically turn off the AC. So you're not controlling the AC. The AC on its own, it's controlling itself. It knows when to turn it on. Now, a TV, for example, you're watching a TV and all of a sudden you leave the TV and you sleep off. The TV, because it's a smart TV, has a way of automatically turning off. It's annoying fully well that nobody is watching it. Because these are the kind of things that we begin to see. And why is 5G instrumental in this? Let's say, for example, you are in the office, yes, and you forgot to, your mother comes visiting you and she is in front of your house and you have a smart gate. All you need to do is, because you have you're connected to a 5G network, you can instantly turn on, you can instantly open the gate remotely from your phone or from your device, and wherever your mother is or wherever your house is, as long as that gate is a smart gate and it is connected to the internet, the gate automatically opens. So that's the level of development we should begin to expect. Now, after the Internet of Things, we should expect high level of virtual reality. Virtual reality and augmented reality is the next in thing. Before now, we know of physical university, that's bricks and mortar university. We know of online university. We should start expecting something like virtual university, where you are seated and with your headset, you are in class, and you see your fellow colleagues also in class, and you see the whiteboard, and you will see your instructor in front of the class moving up and down and explaining things, and it is as though you are in class. Meanwhile, you are sitting you are sitting in your bedroom, or you're sitting in your sitting room, and all that. We should expect a high level of virtual reality in the area of simulation. Military will know these trainings that has to do with you going to camp and all that. The simulation would be digital. It's no longer going to be physical. Because the virtual reality simulation would make it real. You would feel as if you're truly in a physical world, but meanwhile you're in a virtual world. And all these things will be possible because of 5G.
Interesting. This 5G will bring a whole new dimension to the digital sector.
Yeah, it will probably change the way we live.
Change the way we live. I hope for the better.
Yeah,
because some of these things are really getting, awesome indeed. Now, there's also the question of what kind of frequency do you think will be adopted to networks that will use 5G in Nigeria?
Okay, Nigeria has two frequencies that has been allocated for 5G. They have the one that is below 6 gigahertz, and they have the one that is above 26 or 24 gigahertz. Now, the maximum frequency generally that is approved for 5G, I think, is around 86 thereabouts. So we'll be running on the 26 and less than 6. So those are the two. When you're running on the lower one, they are practically the same thing, but they are running the size and the speed differs based on the frequency of the spectrum that you'll be running on. But those are the two frequencies or spectrum that will be running on: the 26 gigahertz and the less than 6 gigahertz.
All right. Now, these frequencies, they are not like the ones we use powering the 4G, which invariably means that they are going to cost more.
Well, generally from research, it is assumed that 5G, the cost of data would be cheaper with 5G, actually, because now you have more size of bandwidth, so you can accommodate more persons. It is the lower the size of bandwidth, it means it's restrict more persons from getting in, so there is competition in you getting in. That's what actually brings about the high cost because of high demand. But now you have broader bandwidth because 5G has the ability to accommodate as many persons as possible because of the microwave frequency, microwave that it's using. So it's the cost of deploying it's expensive. It's very, very expensive. But on the long run, it's the one-off cost. But generally, assessing it for the end users is going to be cheaper. You get more data, and at a lesser price. Yeah.
All right. If you're just joining us, we have been talking about the benefits of 5G, which has been approved for deployment by the federal government of Nigeria. And I'm been in the studio with Jafar Haniel doing justice to this discussion. We're going to go on a short break, and when we come back, we'll continue with the discussion.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it now is my very special pleasure and privilege to ask His Royal Majesty, the Sultan of Sokoto, the chairman or chairperson of the leadership group, to come forward and join me and hold on to one bit of this cloth so that we can jointly unveil the bigger, better, deeper Levoque.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, we're still talking about Money Radio, and we're looking at 5G. But before we continue with our discussion here, let me quickly remind you that on the 9th of September, Abuja, and in fact the entire country, all gathered at the International Conference Center at the city center to help in welcoming back the once rested the Levoque magazine of the leadership newspapers. It was also an opportunity to view the array of stars, the political figures in the country who have gathered for the Leadership Awards 2020. And if you are at that event, if you are at that venue, you will agree with me that it was colorful, it was well organized, it was well planned, and it produced the desired result. So many awardees, governors, ministers, captains of industry, and all the people that make things happen in Abuja and the rest of the country all gathered there to celebrate the leadership newspapers, especially the unveiling of the Levoque magazine. And this particular magazine has been very exquisite, in leadership over the years. It was rested for some reasons, but now the company has found it so strategic to return this Levoque magazine. And so we celebrate with leadership group. We also want you to participate fully in the Levoque magazine, just as we invite every one of us to do their best in making it a success once again. Now, that is for the Levoque. We come back to our discussion of 5G, and we are still talking about what Nigeria stands to benefit. And Handel has actually been doing some justice to this program, trying to explain in details the technicalities that will, of course, usher in benefit to Nigerians in the long run. And of course, Handel, we have security challenges. We also have economic problems. And Nigerians are looking forward to how this deployment of 5G will help in addressing some of the security crises that we have. In the last couple of days, we heard that the military and the other security agencies have been bombarding bandits camps in Zamfara and the other northwestern states, and they were recording some very great successes in that field. Now, 5G is here. So how do we ensure that this security that we are challenges that we are having, 5G will help us solve them?
Okay, well, there's one very important feature that 5G comes with, and that is network slicing. Now, network slicing is the ability for organizations or military arms like the Nigerian military or the Nigerian army to have a section, a network for themselves, running on the same infrastructure, managed by the same mobile network operators, but it is owned by the military. You get, so it's a way of slicing dividing the network and allocating it to certain persons and certain organizations. So wherever, as long as let's say, for example, we have one of the telecommunications that to offer network slicing to the Nigerian army. As long as you're in Nigeria and you're using that particular segment of the network, wherever you are that there is 5G, we will be able to communicate with each other. So that's a level of that's a level of growth that we would experience in that aspect. Now, beyond that, because of the, the speed that 5G is coming with, it really wouldn't take you time to dial a number and get it connected. We'll have, because it has a whole lot of bandwidth, there are so many, the space is there for you to dial, and the switchboard to get you connected, and you're in no time you are connected to the person that you want to call. Yeah, so it's going to enhance a whole lot of, it's going to enhance communication both from the military and also the populace, where we can easily dial and get connected with anybody that we want to call. So those are some of the aspects of security that we should look out for once 5G is deployed.
Wow, interesting. I think this 5G will go a long way in actually exposing Nigerians to some greater opportunities in the fight against insecurity. Now, we also have an economy crisis. We need to expand the economy. We need to harness the talents of the young people. And the ICT sector has done greatly in recent years. We heard that about 17.92%, for the GDP in the second quarter of 2021, which means there's a very big prospect that it will add more value to the economy. Now, we need to take this advantage. If ICT can do that, can add this type of value to the economy when we're operating with 4G. Now 5G is available. What do you think we'll get out of it in terms of ICT contribution to the GDP?
It will be enormous. The growth we should expect from ICT by the time 5G is deployed should be enormous. One thing is that we have not tapped into the hardware subsector of the ICT yet, and it is instrumental in all of this. It is instrumental in all of the deployment of 5G. While the software aspect is there, which we are very good at, we should also look at the way of tapping into the hardware subsector of the ICT, because we begin to see things like the Internet of Things technology that I earlier mentioned. Now, we've not tapped into the health technologies, because 5G is also going to bring about remote surgery. The surgeon is in Lagos, the patient is in Kano. With a 5G network, the surgeon can carry out an operation directly on the patient, and it has been tested and it worked. It was tested with even a brain surgery, and it was successful. So that's to tell you the level of advancement that 5G is going to bring forth. So we should tap into the hardware aspect of 5G. We have to, generally hardware aspect of hardware subsector of the ICT. We should note that there's going to be a whole lot of innovations, high level of innovation, coupled with the fact that we are having 5G and now we're having in-era, and both of them are coming almost at the same time, or they are getting their level of approval or launching at the same time. That's to tell you that there's a whole lot of opportunities that the Nigerian industry will begin to experience. The Nigerian ICT sector will begin to experience in terms of expansion. We'll see innovation in the area of streaming services. We'll begin to see what's called internet TVs, where you don't need to have your regular television or channels to be able to run your TV. But now you will have an internet-based television, because people begin to subscribe for those kind of applications or those kind of TVs. They'll prefer to have an internet-based TV because they have their Amazon Fire Stick or the Google Chromecast or the Android TV box or set-top box. So we begin to see a whole lot of streaming services coming forth. Hospitality industry would now begin to each rooms in hospitality industry will begin to decide on the kind of TV, the kind of television stations or internet television that they want to watch, because it is assumed that the hotel generally would be connected on 5G, and the speed would also help in that direction. Yeah. So innovations are coming for. I trust Nigerians when it has to do with the innovation. Once the 5G is available and they know that, okay, this is available and it's working, we should be aware that we should be rest assured that innovations will come forth. Now it's a case of making sure that the innovation comes forth speedily. There are roles we need to play, as there are roles in the government needs to play. There are roles the developers need to play. The populace general definitely will accept the speed that is coming forth, that 5G will come forth with. But there's this saying that everything has an advantage comes with some disadvantage. They come pre-built. The advantage and that they come together. You get so. What you do is to maximize the advantage and you minimize the disadvantage. So now, one disadvantage of 5G is the fact that if you are attacked, let's say an organization is attacked, for example, and the organization is attacked with 4G for 5 minutes. Let's say the attack happened for just 5 minutes. The organization may not lose they may not lose much data in terms of data breach because it was 4G. Now, based on the research that was done, that they were able to download 5G, I mean, they were able to use 5G network to download 2 gig data. That means if your organization falls victim of cyber attack, and the attacker makes use of a 5G network to carry out his attack, and they only attack you for 5 minutes, it means that 2 gig of your data, of your data can be downloaded to the attacker system, and the attacker that's a whole lot of this. So 30 seconds breach in 5G matters. 5 seconds breach in 5G matters. You get so that's that. So what we should do generally is not the 5G. We should not throw away the 5G, but instead we should look at how to minimize those kind of attack. Carry out a level of preventive measures to ensure that we don't fall victim of cyber attacks. Do all the necessary things we need to do. Put in all the necessary technologies we need to train all the necessary steps we need to train. Carry out the necessary awareness we need to carry out. Once we are able to do that, then we can now hope that
the cyber criminals
we don't become victims of cyber attacks.
Because that one is very important. As we're thinking the positive, we should also look at the other side of it and see how we're going to ameliorate the situation.
Yeah.
And that's very fantastic indeed, having you on the program once again. It's always a pleasure having you and doing justice to some of these issues that we're talking about. And we have been talking about the benefits of 5G, that is fifth generation network that has been approved for use in Nigeria by the Federal Executive Council last week after the council meeting in Abuja presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari. And the Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Professor Isa Ali Ibrahim Pantami, expressed so much optimism about the benefit it will bring to Nigeria in terms of expanding our horizon in economic development academic development, and of course add more value to the ICT sector that is already booming and increasing the job opportunities for the Nigerian youth. And it's on that note that we draw the curtains on today's edition of Money Radio, and we promise to bring you a fresh edition when next we come. Thank you and remain blessed.